Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone is doing well. It is episode 3 of the Edutainment series. I'm super proud of myself, and as you can tell, this year is already about consistency. We are pushing, we are climbing. I'm going to try, move up to 2 videos a month instead of just 1 video a month, because I feel like there's a demand. People are liking the content and people are asking, when is the next upload, and I really do appreciate the support thus far. Please do subscribe to my channel so that we can get to 500 subscribers. It is the road to 500 and then 1,000. Hopefully, let me say definitely before the end of this year, I will be monetized with 1,000 subscribers. I cannot do that alone. Please do help me by subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up, comment, and also share if you can. Today's video is all about bursaries, right? I really wanted to stick to this topic right now while the year is still starting out. I know a lot of people are newly enrolled into university, and the academic year is going, even for returning students and so forth. Maybe you don't have funding, some of you do have funding, and if you do have funding, it's very important to also just share your testimony, leave a comment down below for people who are still looking. I know we do have NSFAS. Most students end up studying by NSFAS in South Africa, that is. So that's a great opportunity that we do have, especially for students who cannot afford at home to be able to pay for their fees up front. And bursaries are actually an amazing opportunity to get during your studies, because it just comes with so many more opportunities, and you do not have to pay back any sum of a bursary as long as you produce the results and you complete your degree or whatever qualification you're trying to acquire. So it's honestly such an amazing opportunity. In my undergrad, I did study with NSFAS and I completed, and in my postgrad, I've been fortunate enough since I joined the University of the Witwatersrand to actually have sponsors throughout. So that is just honestly so amazing. I would say in Johannesburg it's probably much more fast moving, because all the companies have their head offices mostly in this city. So I suppose it is much easier to source bursaries in the big city compared to when you're elsewhere. But it is the age of technology. You can access everything through Google. The application forms are there, the links are all online, and you can definitely apply wherever you are in the country. So essentially, I want to debuckle some misconceptions that we have as, I'll say, Black people, as students, as young people, about bursaries. The first misconception or myth is that you must be an A student. You should be getting straight A's, 90%, 80%, and all this stuff. Yes, bursaries do look at merit as a criteria for choosing candidates, but they also look at the financial need. If you're able to prove that you cannot afford to do to be able to pay for your own fees, and fees are very expensive. A lot of people do not actually afford to pay for tertiary education in this country, so it's not out of the ordinary. This whole thing about A grades, obviously you shouldn't be a failing student. You shouldn't be getting like 30% or whatever it is, because you're barely making it. But if you are passing, and let me say in the beginning of the year, if you've been accepted to study something, so say you are fresh out of matric and you've accepted your offer, and maybe you've registered, maybe you do have NSFAS. Even people with NSFAS should actually apply for bursaries, because you can get out of NSFAS and get into a bursary. You do have to pay back NSFAS at some point, when your career is continuing. You do have to pay back the installments, just so to enable also other students, future generations, to be able to benefit from NSFAS. So essentially, apply for bursaries even if you do have NSFAS, and if you don't have any funding and maybe you don't have a plan, you definitely should be applying for bursaries. Don't look at, your marks. Even at matric, you passed, you did well enough to get accepted by the institution to pursue whatever degree it is that you're going to be pursuing. So no bursar is going to say, this student Wits thought they were good enough to come and study teaching, but we don't think they're good enough to give them funding. If you can send all the required supporting documents and send in your application, they will consider you. And you follow up and keep in touch with the bursars, find out what more do they need, follow up and call and find out if they have everything that they need. Do you need to send anything else? That also does help. So remove that mentality that if you got a 60 for whatever. Some bursaries maybe will be tough on that. I won't lie, because I did get a bursary reject me fresh out of high school because I had 68 for math and 69 for physics, and they were looking for people with 70 and above. So you do get some of that criteria, but essentially I don't think you should look at that and say, I'm not going to apply. No, you should apply. Which brings me to my second point about meeting all the requirements. They may have a list of requirements to say, okay, you must be fresh out of matric. Maybe they might say you must be enrolled for this and this and this specific degree. But apply regardless, especially if you feel like it's in your field. For instance, SAPOA, I'm in property. When I first started studying property, I was funded by SAPOA, the South African Property Owners Association, and they did not fund postgraduates. Let me say conventionally they do not, but I was able to say, now I've been accepted and I really don't have funding, and they called me in for an interview to actually explain further my circumstances, and they did grant me the bursary. And I proved to be worthy of them taking a chance on me because I did complete on record time, and I was able to actually do fairly well in terms of my studies, or actually very well in terms of my studies. So yeah, even if you don't meet all the requirements. So what they put on the requirements for anything, even a job, an internship, whatever it is, and bursaries, is what you call a unicorn candidate. And usually those people maybe don't typically exist, or they don't form the majority of the applicants. It does not mean that if you're not a unicorn candidate, you're not going to be considered. Of course you will be considered. Probably 1 in every 10 applicants meet all the requirements in most cases, especially if you're in a niche or like a field that is still growing, or maybe not a lot of people are in that field and so on. But even if it's like many applicants, you have nothing to lose by just taking a chance and sending in your application, even if maybe you are not a unicorn candidate, or you do not meet all the requirements, because you might find that other students might be a unicorn candidate, but they haven't sent actually all the required supporting documents, or maybe they're not following up, or the bursar can't get a hold of them, so they move down the list to actually look at other students who are in that position of need that are accessible to actually be awarded that opportunity. And the next point is work back obligations, because I think most people think that bursaries want you to work back. Some bursaries definitely do say, okay, we have sponsored your studies for 4 years, so you should work back to us for 4 years after you study, which is a great opportunity because you are guaranteed employment after your studies. But it's not necessarily. Another example, again, with SAPOA, they don't have any expectations of work back obligations. They fund your studies, and they are happy to assist with your work readiness. There are things like Excel at Uni to help you upgrade your CV, your cover letters, and just get you prepared for the professional world. So they do help you in that sense, that when you go out there and start applying for jobs, you have everything that you need to present yourself well and to actually be an employable candidate. So it's not always the case. It could be a plus or a minus for some people, but you do inquire as per whatever bursary you are considering, or that you have been awarded, whether there are such obligations, and that is something then that you would consider if it is put on the table. So this is part 1 of this discussion. I just wanted to put that out there. Maybe this is the confidence that somebody out there needs to say, you know what, let me apply. Apply regardless. You really have nothing to lose. I applied to SAPOA the year before. I hadn't even gotten accepted to come and study the postgraduate diploma in property development and management. I didn't know if I was actually going to move from Durban to Johannesburg, but as things aligned, at least I could refer back to my application. I was like, oh, you know, I actually did apply. I had filled out everything. I sent them all my supporting documents. So when I repealed my application at the time when I already had the letter of offer and acceptance with the institution, and it was just a matter of, you know, saying, please, I'm in this position, and waiting for whether it was a yes or a no, which fortunately it was a yes. And the next video is going to just be detailing how to apply, where to apply, and maybe we can also dig deeper into who can apply, right? So I am gonna have a guest, Slee, who's actually supposed to be with me today, but unfortunately she had other commitments. So the next video we're gonna delve deeper into that, because I think she does have a lot of good insights, and she's always been a person that is able to source opportunities, be it bursaries, be it internships, and, you know, so forth. So she was the one always sending us stuff to say, you know, here guys, apply. So I just think she would be a key person to have on here that can be a testimony of all the things that I've actually even said right now, and to reassert the conversation around bursaries as the year has begun, or as the semester has begun. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I do hope that this video was informative, and that, you know, it gave you the confidence that you need to go out there knowing that it's okay if you got 60s. I mean, I got my degree in geology, and my academic transcript was a struggle. Like, I struggled. I struggled through that degree, but I was awarded a bursary because, you know what, I completed, and whatever qualification I had applied for with VITS, I was granted. So I am, if the institution gives you a chance, like I said, the bursar will consider that, you know what, you are a candidate that is worthy of being in that position, and then it's just up to you to make sure that you perform and you do your best to actually produce good results and to not waste resources. And yeah, I'm just babbling, and thank you once again for tuning in. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share with your friends, share with anybody who might need this. Leave a comment down below. Let us help each other and let us grow together. Thank you guys. Bye.